Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Now today we're going to be talking about Elementor, and more specifically whether the fact that you use Elementor within your web design business or agency, does that make you lazy? Okay, now this has stemmed from a recent comment that I got. Okay, so you can see it on screen here. It says, okay, as soon as you said Elementor, I hit the thumbs down, learn to be a real WordPress developer. Okay, so I actually don't usually let the comments that come through annoy me, but this one did frustrate me a little bit, and I'll explain why in a minute. But first and foremost, the fact that I was told to become a real developer, that frustrated me the most. Okay, so just to give you some context, I've been making WordPress websites for over 10 years now. So 10 years ago, we didn't have Elementor, we didn't have no-code tools. So this meant that we had to produce WordPress themes pretty much from scratch. I mean, there was a time where I was using boilerplates that would kind of give me a bit of a head start in that respect. But ultimately, every WordPress theme that I was having to produce within my job was custom and built pretty much from the ground up, minus the odd plugin that you typically rely on. Okay, so I do class myself, I guess, as a real WordPress developer. I remember way back when Elementor was emerging and all of these no-code tools were emerging. I, for the longest time, tried to hold on to the fact that I could code, to the fact that I was able to produce websites with code, fully custom, all of that stuff. But when I became a business owner, I very quickly realized when trying to sell websites to clients that they really don't care about how it's built. What they care most about is whether it works, whether it does what they want it to do, and essentially how much value that website is going to bring them. They don't care if it's on WordPress, Wix, Webflow, whether it's built using no-code tools. And actually, there is an analogy for this, which I think sums it up quite nicely, is when you go to a restaurant, you don't care how the chef is really cooking the food. You just care that it tastes good. So whether a chef decides to use an air fryer or a slow roast cooker, if it tastes the same, you're not going to care, okay? And the same thing applies to web design. All right, so back to what I was just saying, for the longest time, I tried to hold on to the fact that I could code, and I shunned no-code tools. But honestly, guys, no-code tools are here to stay. Elementor is here to stay. Honestly, it's an insane tool. Yes, it has its flaws, and by no means do I recommend it for every single project. There are certainly circumstances where Elementor perhaps wouldn't be a good fit, and you would just go down the fully custom route. Right? That's fine. But my point here is, coming from a web development background, being a web designer, and now being a web design business owner, trying to find tools or processes that are going to completely speed up the amount of time that it takes you to build a website, let's say, is more important than whether I've decided to code or not code. All right, I'd much rather spend a day designing and building a website efficiently than spending an entire week and getting paid exactly the same. When you put it like that, in my own opinion, it's a no-brainer. So I've got my business hat on here, okay? From a business perspective, trying to speed up your processes and become more efficient within your agency is essential. Okay, so going back to the comment, he then goes on to question the efficiency side of things and who is it more efficient for? The fact that it's more efficient for us as a developer or a web design agency, he's considered it lazy. I think that's a very incorrect way of looking at things. If anything, I think within business, you should aim to be as lazy as possible. As long as your service offering isn't affected, you want to be able to do things in the most simplest way. Why would you make your life so much more difficult? Okay, so the whole point of this video is using Elementor lazy? From my point of view, no, I really don't think it is. And one thing I have seen is there are many way more established agencies than myself that are using Elementor within their business day in and day out. It's a fantastic tool. It delivers great websites and it allows agencies to do so at a much faster scale. It really doesn't matter how things are built these days, as long as they work, as long as it hits the client's goals and it does what it needs to do. What does it matter what platform it's built on? Now, I just want to be clear, Adam, I hope you don't mind me shouting you out and calling you out on the comment. I generally mean this from a good place. I'd love to get any of your thoughts on the subject, whether you are a web designer, whether you are a web developer, whether you build websites, still from scratch or from the ground up, or whether you are utilizing Elementor. Let me know down in the comments. Let me know if you were once a developer like myself and you've swapped over to no-code tools in order to deliver a faster service. I'd love to hear it. All right, so I hope you have found this valuable. My own opinion is if you're using Elementor within your business, you're not lazy. I wouldn't class you a lazy developer. Right? It doesn't matter whether you have coding experience or not. These no-code tools have opened up a lot of doors for a lot of people to start web design businesses and are doing very, very well. So I think that's amazing. I think it's amazing for the industry. So that's my thought process. That's my thoughts on it. Let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are. Also, there's more valuable content coming up on the end screen, so make sure that you go and check those out. And also hit subscribe and hit the bell notification too if you want to be notified of any future releases. Thank you very much, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.